There's a moment in every life, a moment nobody posts, nobody claps for, nobody sees, where you sit alone, staring at your ceiling, and you ask the most dangerous question in the world. Should I quit? Because quitting doesn't always look like giving up loudly. Sometimes quitting looks like silence, like delay, like tomorrow, like he wasn't born on a stage. He wasn't born in a spotlight. He wasn't born with confidence. He was born into uncertainty, new places, new faces, that feeling of not belonging. And when you grow up like that, you learn something early. The world can be loud and people can be cruel, and nobody is coming to save you. So he started searching for something the world couldn't steal. Not money, not fame, control. Because when your life feels unstable, you want one thing: to feel strong inside your own skin. So he found discipline. He found training. He found the kind of pain that you choose, the kind of pain that builds you instead of breaking you. And slowly, a different person started to form. Not fearless, but willing, not perfect, but persistent. And that's where it begins. Not when you feel ready, but when you decide you're tired of being small. There are two types of pain: the pain that hurts you and the pain that teaches you. Training taught him something most people never learn. You don't rise to your dreams. You rise to your standards. You don't win because you feel motivated. You win because you can do it when you feel nothing, when you feel tired, when you feel doubt. And in the gym, nobody cares about your excuses. The weight doesn't care about your mood. The mat doesn't care about your problems. The opponent doesn't care about your fears. So he learned to breathe through pressure, to stay calm in chaos, to keep moving when his mind screamed stop. And that skill, that ability to continue under discomfort, would become the foundation of everything else. Because life is a fight, not fists, not cages, but mental war, bills, rejection, criticism, loneliness, failure. And you either build a mind that can handle it or you break. He chose to build. Then he stepped into another arena, comedy. And comedy is brutal because in fighting, at least you know you got hit. In comedy, you can fail and the room just stares at you like you don't exist. No applause, no mercy, just silence. And that silence, it can destroy you. He bombed. He froze. He questioned himself. He walked off stage some night feeling like he had just been punched in the soul. And there's a special type of pain when you believe you're meant for something, but the results don't match your belief. That gap between who you are now and who you want to become, that gap is where most people quit because it's embarrassing, it's slow, it's lonely, but he kept getting back on stage again, not because he was confident, because he was stubborn. And one night he realized something: if you can survive humiliation, you can survive anything. So he trained his voice like a fighter trains his body. He learned timing, he learned patience, he learned how to stand in discomfort. And slowly, the silence turned into chuckles, the chuckles turned into laughter, and the laughter turned into proof. I can become who I decided to be. Let's be honest, success stories sound pretty when you skip the ugly parts, but the ugly parts are the price. There were times he was broke, times he was exhausted, times he wondered if he was wasting his life chasing a dream. And then comes the outside pressure. People saying, get a real job. People saying, oh, this isn't stable. People saying, who do you think you are? And the worst voice? The voice inside your own head, the voice that says, you're not special, you're not smart enough, you're too late, you missed your chance. And some nights, that voice wins. Some nights, you sit alone, and you feel the weight of time. You feel the fear of failure. You feel the terrifying thought, what if I'm not enough? And that's where he made a decision that changed everything. He stopped trying to be safe and he started trying to be true. Because if you're going to suffer anyway, suffer for something that matters. Then came the next step. Not a stage, not a cage, a microphone, a simple room, a conversation. At first, it wasn't glamorous. It wasn't perfect audio. It wasn't a million views. It was just real. And that's what people felt. Because while the world was full of fake perfection, here was a man just talking like a human being. Curious, honest, unfiltered. He asked questions people were afraid to ask. He said things people were scared to say out loud. And sometimes he was wrong. Sometimes he was messy. Sometimes the world attacked him, but he stayed consistent. And consistency is a superpower because talent is loud at the beginning, but consistency is loud at the end. Day after day, episode after episode. While others posted highlights, he posted work. While others waited for inspiration, he built a system. And slowly, the room got bigger. The mic got better. The audience grew from a few people to thousands to millions. And suddenly, people called him overnight success. Overnight? No. It took years of invisible effort, years of showing up when nobody cared, years of speaking into the dark until the dark started answering back. Then the real test came. Not building the dream, but carrying it. Because when you become a voice for millions, every word becomes heavy. Every mistake becomes a headline. Every opinion becomes a war. And it's easy to get bitter. It's easy to get afraid. It's easy to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. But he remembered who he was. A kid who just wanted control. A man who built discipline. A fighter who trained under under pressure. So he did what fighters do. He stayed in the fire. He kept learning, kept evolving, kept talking, not to please everyone, but to keep the conversation alive. And that's what made him dangerous, not his fame, his endurance, because the world can handle talent, but the world doesn't know what to do with someone who refuses to quit. Now listen to me. This is not just his story, it's yours, because you have your own version of the empty room, your own version of the late nights, your own version of the doubt. You don't need a podcast to relate. Your podcast might be your business. Your stage might be your studies. Your fight might be your health. Your war might be anxiety you don't tell anyone about. And I need you to understand something. If it's hard, that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're growing. The pain you feel right now, that pain is not proof you should stop. It's proof you're in the process, because the price of a new life is always an old version of you dying, and the old version of you will fight back. It will beg you to return to comfort. It will beg you to return to easy. But easy never built anything great. So here's what you do. When you feel like quitting, you don't ask, can I do this forever? You ask one question. Can I do this today? Just today. One more day of discipline, one more day of effort, one more day of showing up, and then tomorrow, you do it again. That's how legends are made. Not in one moment, but in thousands of small moments where you choose pain over comfort,